From KBN, you're listening to 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, WBEVAM, Beaver Dam, Dodge County, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Corey Sparks.
For Marshall against Johnson Crick. We're going to go with that, I guess.
And Wally Lukaczynski.
Enjoy the fake-tainted national title, you scumbags.
Covering everything from the green and gold to pro, college, and high school sports around South Central Wisconsin. Broadcasting live from the Daily Dodge TV studios. This is the Dam Sports Show, presented by Real Sports Cards in Waupun on Daily Dodge TV and 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam.
Happy Thursday and welcome to the Dam Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV. Appreciate our teammates over at ESPN Milwaukee for tossing it over to us. Cody Sparks and Wally Lukaczynski here with you.
You seem like a Cody to me.
Yeah, no, it was hilarious. They're outroing the show. Kyle Wallace is driving the ship today, and he did a phenomenal job. But right at the end, he said Cody and Wally, and immediately Alex Strofe jumped in and was like, hey, no, and he apologized like 5 billion times. No harm taken, Kyle, but that was hilarious.
I don't know if I could like Kyle anymore. And then he did that. Notice how he drilled Wally right away. I was like, let's go, my man out there in Milwaukee.
I didn't bowl for 4,000 pins.
Hey, no, that's fair. Oh, I didn't either. As ESPN Madison will very happily tell you any chance they have a shot.
Asterisk next to it.
It's not an asterisk. It's the same thing as the fasting frenzy. I already know how it's gonna go. Well, you got to eat other meals. We agreed to that beforehand.
They do a game on Kyle Brust and Nortman called Over and Under every week, and I thought it was really awesome, the one they did today, because you and I started playing it afterwards. It was over under 7.5 for how many cities in Wisconsin you can name out of the top 10 by population, and they got 8 at the buzzer. We were thinking like La Crosse was in there. It wasn't. We were thinking Sheboygan was in there.
I think I had 7.
It wasn't. Yeah, I think you had 7. And I think if I were to have done it, I got it spoiled in front of me like twice. So I can't non-biasedly take it now. But I want to say I would have gotten like 6 or 7 too.
It was a lot harder than I expected. It's just because Wisconsin, all these states, or all these cities, I should say, in the state, they're very similarly sized. They, of course, like, I'm not spoiling it. I hope that you know that Madison and Milwaukee.
Yeah, those were the layups.
So after that, that's when it becomes really kind of spread out. These cities are all similar. You already spoiled it, so I don't feel bad saying it. My third guess, I think, was La Crosse.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was in there, too.
I was baffled to see that wasn't in the top 10.
Because you go down the line of the NCAA Division III.
That's what I was doing.
So you're like La Crosse, there's Oshkosh, which was in there. Whitewater was not. Stevens Point was a little closer.
I thought it was like 30-something.
Yeah, then Whitewater's way down there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I missed. I recommend you playing at home, even though Corey just gave about half of the answer sheet away.
Ones. Don't repeat those.
You gave a couple good ones.
Oshkosh.
Yeah, you drilled Oshkosh. We already got the 2 layups. So yeah, have fun with yourself. Go play with that at home.
Maybe try 15 through 20. That'll be a little easier. Not at all.
I was going to say, how is that going to be any easier?
Maybe more difficult. I don't know.
It's like saying, you can't name all the MLB teams. Try to name all the AA teams. I'm sure you'll do really well.
We should do that. No one would want to hear that.
No, and you would be good, and that would not be fun for me.
We'll do Feeling 23 in just a moment here, projecting what the Packers will do with the 23rd overall pick in this year's draft, which is in Titletown, by the way. Then we'll bounce over to Beaver Dam softball and do a season preview. They're going up against West Bend West tonight. Had a 22-11 victory over Fond du Lac to open the season. There's a significant little bit of significance there with the number 22 and that performance they had to open up the season. But then we'll also talk about the home opener, which is tomorrow against Hartford. Had a chance to talk to head coach Quinn Hines yesterday. Awesome interview. We'll play some audio from that. Hunter Vaughn joins us in the third block from ESPN Madison. Hunter's the main producer for Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe. We'll kind of bounce around with him, talk NCAA tournament, talk some Packers, talk Wally's golfing challenge, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. And then we'll wrap up today's program as we usually do on Thursdays with Out of Bounds here on 1430 ESPN and Daily Dodge TV. You can follow us on Facebook at ESPN Beaver Dam, Twitter at ESPN BD, Dam Sports ESPN for the show Twitter. And I want to get this out in front of all of you right away. Amazing opportunity going to the first caller at 920-887-9595 on the show today. ESPN's fantasy-focused football podcast is coming to Green Bay on April 23rd, the day before the draft. Field Yates, Daniel Dopp, Mike Clay, Liz Loza, and Stefania Bell are doing a live show at the Tundra Trio right outside of historic Lambeau Field. ESPN Wisconsin wants to send you and a friend, that's 2 free tickets, up to Green Bay on April 23rd to see the show happen live. We did get word doors are going to open at 5:30. Show starts at 6:30. Right now, the first caller at 920-887-9595. I'll do that one more time for you guys. 920-887-9595. If you're watching on the Daily Dodge TV stream, it's put up right there in the corner for you to read and type in as well. That's 2 tickets to ESPN's Fantasy Focus Football live at the Tundra Trio. You can see the show up close, meet all the hosts in person, get complimentary food, drinks, and Fantasy Focus Football podcast merch. That's the first caller right now. Visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com for full details.
That's going to be so exciting. You're going to get to meet the host. You get great food. You're going to get out there 5:30. You can go kind of cut your day short a little bit. That's the way I would be planning it anyways. Make sure you get out at that 4 o'clock, go up there, get a good drive in. It's going to be a great time. You got to make sure you take advantage of this. We got plenty of these to go for the next 8 days, so make sure you're calling in 7 days, actually.
Yes.
Wow. This is going fast.
By.
Yeah,
time
Friday. Is, what, it's a flat circle, as they said?
Yeah, we made it up as humans.
We did. It feels like it. This has been a week that, you know how the weeks are, sometimes it's like the longest week flies by at the same time? It's been that joint thing, because with the double shows now, Hometown Today on 95.3 WBEV, we rolled out the new lineup. It's weird because this is my 7th show, 8th show. I can't do math.
Yeah, 2 a day.
Yeah.
Doing 2 days.
I'm doing 2 a days right now. Welcome to August, except the August now is March.
It's the other
April.
one that starts with A. April.
I'm staying really hot today. I'm doing great
right now.
Unbelievable.
April 24th is the day of the first draft. The Packers have pick number 23. Here's a little segment we like to call Feeling 23. 3. Three. That's a lot worse.
Bars.
I need to save that. I actually don't have a copy of that right now. It's in our system. So
Bars.
we can play it over the radio. But when this segment unfortunately dies in a couple of weeks, I want to make sure I have that on hand.
You say it might die. I hope that I'm wrong when I say this. The Packers have kind of got used to drafting in this 20 to 26 range.
Yeah, maybe it'll be feeling 25 next year. Or feeling 32 if we're real.
Who knows? It could be any number it could be. I mean, if it's in the 20s, it's a possibility. I think Packers fans at this point, how about throw a feeling 29 at it? Yeah. I think they would take an NFC title game, just another step forward. Because, one team wins a Super Bowl every year. To just have that is the season's a failure if you don't do it. Doesn't feel right. So who knows? Maybe we get to roll out next year with a different number.
Maybe they'll fudge the rule and just trade back. And then we get unauthentic Feeling 29.
Yeah, well, it's better than doing Feeling 8 or something like that. So
or Feeling 6.
Yeah.
Or 10.
Well, I was growing up as a Raiders fan. Those are all too familiar numbers.
Those are
to
ours,
me.
right? You have 6, right?
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Ashton
We're
Genty.
Fighting for Genty.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun.
The Bears will trade in front of you and get him at 5. This is Feeling 23. What will the Packers do with the 23rd overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft? Pretty loose rules here. You could say they're going to trade it. You could say they're going to trade up, trade back, trade it for a player. Free agency's done, so we're kind of getting a better picture of what this team could do on draft day. And I'll let you go first here with a name you believe the Packers will select 23rd overall in Titletown this year.
Well, they ain't trading a pick. They're picking at
good.
23. And I'm going to lean in again. We did this, I can't remember if it was last week, 2 weeks ago, times a circle. It's a flat circle at that. I'm ready to get hurt again, Cody. But if he's on the board, how do you not go? Do you like it? I think I might start rolling with Cody.
Unreal.
Donovan Ezeraku. It's happening. ACC Defensive Player of the Year. And I get the concern. Everybody, he's small. I get that fear. He's 6'2". He played at about 240 last year. School weighed in right around that at school. But at the Combine, he already got up to about 248. And when you look at his size, or similar to other players, Randy Gregory is the one that everybody's been scared off of. Undersized, didn't get that big production when he got to the next level. But I'm going to throw a couple other names at you here. How about Melvin Ingram? How about Yannick Ngakoue? How about Vaughn Miller? He is right around that height for all of them. He's only a half-inch taller or shorter than Vaughn Miller. He's taller than the other two I mentioned and just about at the same weight. And he's got longer arms than all three of them. He had the production in school. ACC Defensive Player of the Year. And the kicker again, he played under Hafley for 3 years at Boston College. I think that this is a slam dunk. If he's on the board, and who knows, he might not be. He's been a guy that's been floating anywhere in mocks between like the teens to like very, very early second round.
Yeah.
But to me, if he's on the board, he fits your system. He already is familiar with the coaching staff, and he has that production on the field. I'm so tired of every year we start falling in love with the combine heroes, and we don't look at what they did on the football field. He's long enough. He's strong enough. He produces enough. He's going to be the pick. If it's there, give me Donovan Ezaraku.
That's a wide range, too, by the way. He's being projected in the teens, like you said, to maybe even falling to like a start of day 2 pick. I know, ironically enough, to bring up this name, the Packers fans, Cooper DeJean had a wide range as well, kind of in that same, little bit off that. But I think if we were to power rank, I've said this before, all of the picks that we've put up for Feeling 23 since we started the series a few weeks ago, Donovan Ezaraku is a favorite. I think Siobhan Revel Jr. is also a favorite per what Jason Wilde said. He got the pre-draft invite, a top 30 invite, and something like 25% of those guys have gone to Green Bay over the last decade. So those are 2 favorites, I think. Mine, I'm a little more, I was more on the wide receiver route, even the corner route after the Siobhan Revel Jr. Getting a pre-draft visit news came out for the Packers. But then yesterday, Jason Wilde brought up the importance of continuing to build on what Jeff Hafley accomplished this past year. And that's building the front 4, building the defense. He made them better pretty much across every single metric. I'm going to go James Pierce Jr., an edge for Tennessee.
Go Vols.
Yeah, first team All-SEC in each of the last 2 years, 17.5 combined sacks. He is lighter than Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness by like 20, 30 pounds between those 2 guys. And those 2 are more of the I'm going to run through you type of pass rushers. Pierce Jr. is smaller, quicker, more nimble. He's more of the I'm going to run around you. I'm going to bend around you, and I'm going to be gone in a flash before you even realize it. Maybe that's the strategy, because they've been going with these big, strong, farm boys, if you will, and it hasn't gone very well as of late.
When we've seen a lot of these smaller guys, similar to Ezaraku, who I'm talking about, I understand that fear because about 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, those guys didn't translate as well. Nowadays, football has changed. It is a faster game. Having an edge rusher that is quick, that is bendy, like you want, what's that green guy, Gumby? You want to be Gumby on the outside. You want to be able to have that bend with the legs. You got to be able to get around these strong athletic tackles, and guys like him are going to be it. So I don't hate the Pierce pick. I think you're right. Jason Wilde has talked me into this over the last couple weeks.
I think they go defense.
I think it's defense, and I think I'd be really surprised if it was anything but an edge or an interior guy that can push the pocket as a defensive tackle. So to me, I think Ezaraku just makes too much sense. It's going to be
the
really
connection's cool.
It is,
yeah.
and it's going to be really hard for me to like come off that. He's an ACC Defensive Player of the Year. I get the ACC isn't exactly what it was even 10 years ago.
Cam Ward.
Okay, of course, Cam Ward. Of course, it's a fantastic conference.
Georgia
How
Tech
dare
had a
I?
decent year.
Oh my gosh! But it's not the conference of old. We know that. But still, when the production's on the field, you're going out there and putting up these 16.5 sacks, 21.5 tackles for loss. He is a guy that produces, and you need production because I'm tired. We don't need the combine heroes anymore that are getting you 7.5 sacks. You need somebody that can actually go out there and get to the quarterback.
I like it. So that is Feeling 23, us predicting who the Packers will be taking in 21 days now. It's exactly 3 weeks from today. We'll be there, boots on the ground for the draft. That'll be a lot of fun to be a part of. From that to talking about someone the Packers took in the first round of the 2020 NFL draft. It's already been 5 years. That's actually crazy to think about. We'll talk Jordan Love here for a little bit. And the prompt, the question, if you will, is Jordan Love a top 10 quarterback right now? This will be pretty quick, kind of hard and fast. I threw some names down here. I believe 11 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, 10 of them. So if we were to declare that all 10 of them or someone not on this list were better than him, he would be outside of that. Thinking of names like, and this is in no order at all, but Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, C.J. Stroud, and Jared Goff. And I think the fringe guys there would be Stroud, Goff, and judging by your reaction, Hurts. You do have to give a guy his flowers after 2 great Super Bowl performances. The first one that he lost, and this one. But yeah, there's questions in throwing mechanics, being accurate down the field, and all that good stuff.
He is in the perfect situation.
He sure is.
He's literally taking a third grade math test, and we're rewarding him saying he's a smarter student than the guy that's taken algebra 15 or whatever it is. I was never good at math.
Yeah.
I think I've shown that here in the first segment today. But I'm telling you, Jalen Hurts is below him.
Okay.
At this point, I think that you got to go C.J. Stroud and Jared Goff below him. And there's one other name that you mentioned, and I am an enormous fan of him. But Baker Mayfield at this point, I don't think that I'm going to put above Jordan Love. Because
he's got a pretty good supporting cast, too.
He does.
Yeah.
But
Godwin
like,
Evans from the last
to
few
me,
years.
to go with the way you're Mr. If I win $1 million, what are you going to do with it? And everybody's like, I'm going on a trip. It's going to be a great time. I'm going to Aruba. And you're like, I want to invest. Let's get into some S&Ps.
5% today. I'm definitely investing. Buy
So
the dip.
I'm buying the dip on Jordan Love. I'm taking the idea that Toyota-thon Jordan Love is who he will be. And it's not the first half of what we saw last year, Jordan Love, what we can expect. And if I think that the Jordan Love we've seen at the second half of these seasons the last 2 years is Jordan Love, I think that he is every bit seventh or better in the league. I don't think that I can put him above Joe Burrow. I can't put him above Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. But like, I think that he's at least at the top of that next tier. If we do believe that who he is. He has to be consistent, though.
Yeah.
And until we get that, I can understand why you're not so sure that you're going to put him there. But Jalen Hurts?
The whole in a vacuum thing is why you're saying what you're saying about Jalen Hurts, because his resume is 1,000 times better right now.
Oh, I mean, sure, if we're doing the whole football quarterbacks get team wins thing, like apparently you can go out there with an all-pro offensive line with two of the best wide receivers in football, have Saquon Barkley at your disposal. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
We're saying that Jalen Hurts has a better. He just went out there and hasn't screwed up.
I just think he's on the list. I haven't said if he was over him yet or not. But
Well, I agree to disagree on that.
I'd say you make the saying he's not on here. He had a really rough year and was bruised up at the beginning like Brock Purdy for the last couple of years. Pretty much since he burst onto the scene, has had a pretty good supporting cast. They were bruised up. I don't know if I'm 7th, maybe like 9th. I think he's barely in there. Tough call, right? We both work in Wisconsin, sports radio. It feels like everything Jordan Love does is hyperbolized. When he throws a horrible interception,
He's the worst quarterback
the sky
ever.
is falling, right? When's the interception streak that he had going on first half of the year? When is that going to come to a stop? Because this is just not good. He's throwing off his back foot. People start, analyzing his throwing motion and saying he's not mechanically sound. He's slouching off. And then when he has a great game, it becomes the debate of, can you truly find more than 1 to 2 NFC quarterbacks that are better than him? The majority of the people on this list that I just gave you of 10 names are in the AFC. Toyota-thon Jordan Love
Amen.
is a top 5 quarterback. Other Jordan Love, I think, is closer to that 12 to 15, 12 to 16 range. So if we take the average, I guess he's barely in there. But I have him right there in that C.J. Stroud range. I barely have Stroud over him. He's got the extra playoff win on him. And Stroud had nothing around him his first year. And he took him to the playoffs, and he won a game against the Browns, who didn't exactly do themselves any favors that year. I think that was the game that Joe Flacco had 2 straight pick sixes.
It's as simple.
But he won.
Toyota-thon Jordan Love. Let's go places. You like that? It's the Toyota catchphrase.
Yeah, that doesn't feel legal.
Well,
he signed a partnership
he's
with them.
literally
Yeah.
a partner with them. Toyota-thon
so.
Jordan Love is coming, and the world isn't ready for him. We need to extend Toyota-thon from August until February. And if that happens, look out. Titletown's getting a parade.
If they can harness that, the fact he's done it twice in a row now is kind of funny. If it happened once, then we're starting to do let's harness a really good 8-game stretch that he had. Think like Christian Watson before the injuries really came up when he was being utilized a lot, had the breakout game against the Cowboys in the back end of
it
right?
just hit me.
Yeah.
He's got to be going to Lambeau in a Toyota Tundra next year. It's the frozen Tundra. It's Toyota-thon Love.
You should get in contact with his people.
This is too easy. How has nobody thought of this yet?
We'll get a hold of Jason Wilde and see if we can sneak that into a press conference.
Yeah, I'm not even angling for one myself. I need Toyota
$55
Love.
million a year, he should be able to get
I would need Toyota Love to be going down there in like a Packers gold, Packers yellow with the stripe right up the middle Toyota Tundra.
That'd be pretty sweet.
It'd be really sweet. And I'm telling you, if he shows up in that, he gets out probably rocking like a little bag of Culver's cheese curds or something. Oh my gosh,
Wisconsin through and through.
I mean, this like entire state would implode.
That feels like he's not with them anymore, but an A.J. Dillon move. Like, that guy was Wisconsin through and through.
He might show up as a fan. He probably won't be on a team at that time next year.
There's a really good, and maybe.
Mayor of Door County, I bring him home.
There's a really good argument that Jordan Love could stamp himself down as a true Wisconsin man if he pulls the stunt that you're describing.
It makes too much sense. My head just started exploding. I see fireworks. I'm seeing like all kinds of
Genius.
I see like the Super Bowl commercials. Where are you going? I'm going to Toyotathon.
Time for someone to steal the idea and give you no credit.
Yeah, like forget Disney World. I'm going and celebrating at my local Toyota dealership.
That's perfect. When
Wow.
we come back, the Beaver Dam softball team from one green and gold team to another has their home opener tomorrow. They've got their second road game tonight, looking ahead into that home opener with a 2-0 record. Here are a few reasons to look forward to their season as a whole. We also have about a minute of audio from new head coach Quinn Hines coming up next here on the Dam Sports Show on 1430 ESPN and Daily Dodge TV.
Beavers, the Rockets, or the Warriors. The Dam Sports Show talks about your favorite local teams on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. And it's presented by Real Sports Cards in Waupun.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money
They won on Tuesday, looking to win tonight. Same mentality going into tomorrow. Talking about the Beaver Dam girls softball team, 1-0 right now. They beat Fond du Lac 22-11. 22. That's more runs than they scored in any game last year. And last year's team was pretty damn good, to use the pun. They were 19-5 and went to the sectional final as well before bowing out to Watertown. They were atop the Badger Large for the majority of the year. A really, really fun team to watch, and it looks like a blast to the start of the season. I was talking to head coach Quint Hines not too long ago, and he was saying the weather could have been a little better in Fond du Lac for the opener. It's actually a team I just found out of the FVA, the Fox Valley Association, that he, when he was with Hortonville last year, got pretty accustomed to facing. So probably had a little extra scouting on them, but weather wasn't great. Wind was whipping. He said wind chill was down in like the 20s and 30s. But the wind was blowing out, and they took advantage of that. 22-11. Here is about a minute of audio of Coach talking about that electric offense that took over a couple of days ago.
I feel like the first game of the year is a true test to see which team can knock off the rust and get off and running first. How did you feel that your team was able to pour it on and accomplish that?
Well, offensively, we were really good. We were patient. That's kind of what you'll see from us. We'll be patient, and our goal is to have great at-bats, and we consistently had good at-bats. We hit the ball really hard. Conditions were tough for pitching last night. I mean, the wind was blowing straight out. It was cold. I originally thought, with that kind of conditions, it'd be a low-scoring game. Mm-hmm. But with the way the wind was playing, it was an offensive-type game. But we really hit the ball hard. So to string together consecutive at-bats, and we had traffic on the bases every inning, was really tough for them. And just offensively, I really liked how we went about our business, and that was something we had been focusing on the first few weeks. So it was really nice to kind of see us put it into fruition. Ran the base as well, just having solid at-bats and hitting the ball hard every time.
Yeah, I think it worked, Coach. 22 runs, 16 hits, 11 walks. Emma Julka, Kendall Fakes, Aubrey Abfall. That's 1, 2, and 3 in the batting order from that game. Combined for 11 RBI and 11 runs scored in the win as well. Not too bad for the top three of your order. This team, again, did not score 22 runs in a game last season. I think I saw a game where they scored 17 at one point. So what they did Tuesday would have qualified as a season high. They've got West Bend West tonight and then Hartford tomorrow, weather permitting. The rain seems to be done. I just don't know how wet that field is. But
yeah. No, at this point, we're just kind of hoping that we get, that dirt to be dirt and not mud tomorrow. Crossing fingers. I know you and I are driving over there after the show just to get a little gander. Crossing fingers we get to be out there for tomorrow. But what's encouraging to me is it was the 16 hits for sure, but drawing 11 walks. That idea of being patient, especially when it's cold. You know how hard it is to go out there when you're already kind of freezing and you're like, I want to be in my warm.
Antsy.
Exactly. I want to be in my warm home. We're already up by half a dozen at this point. You're taking walks, being patient at the plate. That is such a sign of discipline from the team that I think is going to pay dividends throughout this year. And it's kind of going to be a good thing that you get this offense to start hot like this because you are going to be replacing quality pitching this year.
Yes.
So you're going to have to look at getting more run support, and having that offense explode the way they did in the opener, I think is a real promising sign. And hopefully we get out there tomorrow and we get to see a big win for the Golden Beavers.
A great point on the plate discipline. Yeah, they are losing Gabby Fakes and Riley Zarnecki, who both for the majority of the year had an ERA hanging around 1. Strikeout to walk
is
ratios
that good?
That were crazy. Very good. I mean, so, Gabby went on to play. She is playing for UW-Madison right now, and Riley Zarnecki's at a D2 program, Roosevelt. So 2 high-level collegiate athletes were the 1-2 punch, and that was essentially their rotation. You didn't hear it in that quote. You'll hear it in the pregame show tomorrow, which, by the way, we're going to have the show at the softball diamond, and then we're going to kick it to break a little early. We'll get off the air around 4:40, come back for pregame. But then if you're a YouTube watcher and you want to see the game, that's going to change things a little for you. You'll have to jump off the damn sports show live stream. It will end, and then you'll just go over to softball. 14:30 ESPN Beaver Dam listeners, that doesn't change anything at all. We're just basically taking a break coming in. But you'll hear in the full interview that he was saying that pitching rotation, not only is it changing from the fact that his 2 leaders, would-be leaders from last year, it was under Coach Schmidt, are gone, it's probably not going to be a 1-2 punch anymore. It's going to be who can get us 3, 4, 5 innings today, And then he used the phrase ride the hot hand a ton. If someone's in a groove, he's not going to step in and interrupt it so long as they're comfortable and seem to be having fun out there.
Well, and that's a fun part about this time of year, too, because you do get to experiment a little bit with the rotation. You get to go out there, see who does have the hot hand, who you can depend on. And one of those games, when you start getting late into the season, you know you have to throw a stopper out there, somebody that's going to really shut down and challenge that opposition. This is the time of year where you find that out, and you get to kind of explore some avenues. So I think it's going to be a fun opportunity to see a little bit of a different group of Golden Beavers tomorrow. And again, very optimistic, very excited for the start of softball and baseball season.
Yeah, it's a team that made the Final 8 last year. I'm just happy it's spring. It's not too nice out there at the moment, but again, as long as they can get the game in, should be a lot of fun. Hortonville is where Coach Hines comes from before we kick it to break and then talk to Hunter Vaughn from ESPN Madison. They had a nice year last year, 16-11 out of the Fox Valley Association. They hung out there in the top 4 to 5. They were 11-7 in conference play. Again, they shared conference with Fond du Lac, who Beaver Dam just ended up beating a couple of nights ago, and then bowed out in the regional round against Appleton North, 6-4. That team hit .312 combined, ERA below 3. So very sound softball program that he was crafting for a while. He coaches club as well, Wisconsin Bandits out of Horicon. And from being around Horicon, he told me it's a lot nicer to be closer to home. Hortonville's like Appleton, so that's over an hour away, as opposed to going from Horicon to Beaver Dam, it's like 15 minutes away. So also a nice perk for him. He was pretty happy to see the job opened up.
I'm happy that he's here, too. Yeah. I know that you and I got to experience it firsthand. This community rallies around newcomers that take pride in this town, and it's obvious that he's going to take a lot of pride being here in Beaver Dam. And I think we're going to be very proud to have him as our softball coach.
Yeah, he seems super amped up to take over this program, and he's really excited at the talent he has at his disposal. You should be getting excited because there's a great one-stop shop for all things sports cards right over in Waupun. That is Real Sports Cards in Waupun. You can also check out their app if you would like. Whether you're into sports cards or Pokemon cards, anything in between, Real Sports Cards has you covered. With live break streaming right on that app, you can grab individual cards on the go, be a part of a group, and watch for your favorite players and teams as the packs get opened in real time. Go to the Apple or Google Play Store today, look for the orange logo, and take your collection to the next level with Real Sports Cards. That is your local resource for all things sports cards, Pokemon cards, and more. When we return, Hunter Vaughn from ESPN Madison fields all of our questions here on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV.
Stay tuned to the Damn Sports Show, brought to you by Real Sports Cards in Waupun. Get the inside look at Beaver Dam High School athletics, weekdays at 4 on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Did it again.
Can't touch this.
Took the break screen off on YouTube and didn't realize it. All right, here we go. Hunter Vaughn from our ESPN Madison team joins the show now. You can hear him live on Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 12:30 p.m. That is on the ESPN Madison and Milwaukee YouTube channels, which you can also use to watch the shows back if you don't catch them in a live capacity. Hunter, how are we doing on this Thursday?
I'm doing great, guys. I will be honest, though, completely forgot that it was a Thursday until I saw your text message like 2 hours later confirming that I was good to go for today. It's been one of those days.
That's all good. Did you think it was a Friday today, or did you think it was earlier? Because that changes everything.
Honestly, I had no idea.
Okay, that's fair too.
This has just been one of those weeks. I have lost all just idea of what time and date it is. I went to the Brewers home opener on Monday, which was just a disaster of a game. And ever since then, I'm just like, I don't know what day it is. Like, they just broke my brain that badly.
That's fair.
No, that was tough. And I will have some Brewers questions that I want to end up with here. But before we do that, I know Corey's pretty excited to talk tournament basketball with you, which I know that you are just an absolute guru on. Mr. What was it? West Coast Conference, Pacific involved. Let's get a dunk conversation. Yeah. So I know you're pretty fired up for the Final Four.
I am. Plus, I'm a Duke fan.
I didn't know this.
Super excited for the Blue Devils. They're going to get another championship. I'm feeling it. Cooper Flag is the truth.
There we go. We got
They're
Con
inevitable
too from Wisconsin. So that's a good point. That was answering the second question I had for you, which is who wins it all. The first one I've got for you, though, all one seeds at this point. I just saw like over 289,000 brackets had the Final Four perfectly correct.
Half of those were Corey's.
Half of those were mine. All one seeds, though, Hunter, is it boring to you that it was this chalky, or do you like the idea of the cream rising to the top at the end?
Anybody that says that this tournament was boring, like, they should lose their college basketball fan card, because the tournament is always exciting. You still had really good games. Like, Florida won their second-round game by 2 points. Maryland had a game-winning shot to win in the second round. Like, this idea that these games are boring just because powerhouse schools are winning, like, then why does anybody watch college football? Because it's the SEC and Ohio State and Michigan that win all the time.
Well,
yet college
Ohio
football
State,
is still exciting.
Well, no, I mean, like you said, Michigan. I mean, they've won one real national title since World War II, but that's fine. No, that's fair.
They still won a national title. They still go to New Year's Six games. They still count in that conversation. I'm not just going to give Ohio State the only representation out of the Big Ten. If I'm going to give anyone else next in the Big Ten, it would be Michigan. Like, Ohio State's better. I'm not saying that they aren't, okay? I know you're sensitive to this, but I still have to add Michigan in there.
Well, agree to disagree.
We'll jump off Big Ten talk here. We'll go to the Big East. Just 3 1 seeds remain in the women's bracket. UConn is the exception. Hunter, can the 2 seed pull it off and let the dominant reign continue from the last couple of decades?
I don't think so. They're 7.5-point dogs in that game. Or wait, no, I'm looking at that wrong.
No, you're good. Let's see.
I was like, wait a second. How are they that?
South Carolina, right? Well, because what I thought you were going to tell me is that because South Carolina is an absolute wagon, and I feel like when you look back at the end of this, you're going to have like 70% of brackets had South Carolina winning for good reason. Because they've kind of turned into what UConn was for a long time this last 5-6 years.
Yeah, and UCLA is still really good. Like, that's the thing, too, is like UConn's going to have to win a game against UCLA, who is really, really good, and as gross as it is, they're from the Big Ten, which is at least exciting that the Big Ten got a Final Four team. Kind of. But then they're going to have to win against most likely South Carolina, who is the best team, and I think probably the second best coach because, like, Geno still, I think he gets that given his longevity and everything. So, like, it's going to be a really good Final Four for both the men's and the women's.
All right, so we got to switch over to baseball now. You mentioned you were at the home opener. I know the Brewers started 0-4, but my first thoughts about this baseball season seems to be around what everybody's talking about, the torpedo bats, Hunter. I got to be honest, I could not care less. If they actually give teams a competitive advantage, everybody's going to be using them in 3 weeks. So I don't really care, but I'm curious, do you have strong feelings one way or another on this new phenomenon that is torpedo bats?
I didn't like them because it was the Yankees first.
Fair.
My second thing is they just feel gross. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I understand that the rule states that a bat can't be, the diameter of a bat can't be greater than 2.61 inches. Like, I understand that, but it feels gross when I see the pinstripes being the ones to do it. If this was just like Pittsburgh, I'd be like, oh, yeah, good for them, whatever, okay. Like, the MLB will probably ban it when you put up 20 runs in a game with it. Like, I get that, and you're making Volpe look like he can actually hit a baseball. Like, yeah, they're going to ban it then. But then because it's the Yankees, like, it just adds a level of just grossness to it. And because it happened to the Brewers, then I'm like, nope, this is cheating. So I'm going to go to my grave saying that the Yankees cheated, and the Brewers actually should have 2 more wins to start the year right now. So really, we should flip their record, and they're 4-2. Like, I'm just going to say that for the rest of the year. Right now, they are 4-2. They're looking good. They're playing well. They're on a 4-game win streak heading into this game against the Reds tonight. We're feeling good about it, even though nasty Nestor Cortez is on the ball.
Yeah, wins and losses are just a mentality. I do think that's a perfect storyline, that it's the Yankees, it's this monster market. Outside of the Dodgers, we're probably not hating anybody more right now. They already have the short porch. The first 2 home runs they had cheated over that short porch, and now we have torpedo bats. So, yeah, it kind of made me sick for a little bit, and now I'm, like, kind of with Wally, where it's if everyone starts using it, and we've got 5 or 6 people hitting over 60 home runs, I don't know. Kind of to tie it in with the Brewers, they've won back-to-back games now, and they've used some small ball to win the walk-off yesterday. Had a little safety squeeze there. Rotation's a bit bruised up, thus the 0-4 start, but 2 wins in a row now. How we feeling? How's the pressure gauge looking?
I feel a lot better after those 2 wins. And, by the way, I have a greater point to this, but I just need to point out here, Craig Counsell would never. There was no chance that the Brewers, with Craig Counsell as their manager, would have ever won that game yesterday the way that they did.
Yeah.
Like, Craig Counsell's allergic to bunting. So it was so beautiful to actually see a manager that understands, like, oh, you don't have to have a guy just hit the crap out of the ball to win a game. You can actually just go ahead and lay down a bunt and get that run in, and you're going to be okay. Like, there's multiple ways to win a baseball game, so it's great having a manager that actually understands that. Not that, Corey, you would know anything about that with the Cubs.
You are obsessed.
I with anything that I said, false.
No, and I do want to give you credit on that, because I think small ball in general is a dying breed, and Counsell got criticized last year for Christopher Morel swinging for the fences when there was like nobody out.
Last year, he got criticized every year he's been a manager.
Yeah, it hasn't been good, but I do think I have an appreciation for what Pat Murphy does, specifically in that scenario, because you saw it, right? The last 2 innings before that, they had runners in scoring position with less than 2 outs, and they couldn't cash in. Finally, they get Terang up there, and it's just, let's just get the ball in play. It had to happen at some point. So, no, I agree with everything you said. It's just Wade did the same thing to me earlier. He's like, Counsell would have never done that. I'm like, dude.
Cubsessed is officially Corey's slogan for 2025, Hunter.
I'm going to get a tattoo of it.
I mean, it's fine. There's worse things that he could be saying to me, so, I mean, I'll take it. But my bigger point with the Brewers right now is, like, Jackson Chourio, I think these last couple of games, he's started to settle back down.
Oh, yeah.
I think we put a lot of pressure on him as a fan base, and he was, like, that New York series, like, those at-bats were ugly. He was trying to hit a home run every time he swung the bat, and, like, that's not necessarily his game. Like, he can hit home runs. He could be a 30-30 guy. Like, he's that good. But he needs to just, you know what, I just need to make contact, and whatever happens, happens. Like, he's strong enough and he's a good enough hitter that if he makes contact with the ball, most of the time it's going to hit the wall or go over the wall anyway. So, like, I think he's starting to get back to that, and I'm sure that's a big thing with having a really good veteran manager like Pat Murphy, a guy that can really talk to his players well and doesn't put too much pressure on them, unlike a certain manager used to do, and having a guy like Christian Yelich in the clubhouse too, a guy that's been around the block as long as he has to really help mentor him. So he's somebody that I'm really starting to feel encouraged after the last 2 days, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him here tonight against the Reds.
Oh, yeah.
I have to just throw this out there, Hunter. It's so refreshing to feel like genuine hate over another team that you're spewing right now, because I feel like I go crazy sometimes with my Ohio State, Michigan kind of hatred. To hear the tiebacks nonstop to the Cubs, it brings a joy to my heart that I wish I could show you right now. I'm genuinely so happy.
See, I could do this with the Philadelphia Eagles, too, as being a Cowboys fan. But, like, nobody really wants to hear that. I'm sure I've got people smiling right now all across Dodge County hearing me talk about the Cubs. Like, after the Eagles, I hate the Cubs the next most, and it's, like, a very close second for me. Like, when I was dating, before I met my wife, there were literally two things that I said that I couldn't handle in a future wife, and that was a Eagles fan or a Cubs fan.
Amen.
I couldn't do it. Like, I can't trust somebody that likes either of those just disgusting teams.
Yeah, it's a character flaw at some point. I mean, like...
Exactly. Like, what are you doing with your life
Me
if
and
you
Hunter
like
will
either
not be
of
getting
those
married.
teams? Like,
Yeah.
who are you as a person? Like, you genuinely can't be a good person if you like the Eagles or the Cubs.
I'll go one step further. Look at what both of those teams have in common, and it bothers me to my core when you have these dumb songs that you have to sing after games.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they both won
Fly
the last 10
Eagles
years.
Fly or Go Cubs Go. They
Awful.
make me sick to my stomach. It's just so obnoxious.
It is, but at least, like, the idea of the Cubs flying the L is just so satisfying to me. Like, I know that they do it every single time, and it isn't just, like, a fan-based thing. But, like, just the flying the L, it does satisfy my soul a little bit, and it makes me smile every time.
Amen, Hunter. I'm proud of you.
I've got one more Brewers question for you. We'll see how we can tie this one back. You did mention that Churio was trying to hit a home run every single time, had the rough opening day performance where he went 0 for 5 with 5 Ks, and now he's looked like he's progressed. Kind of a microcosm of that rookie year. Struggled early and then just got better every single month. Vinny Capra hit a home run on opening day, and I just want to ask you, is that the most amazing story on this Brewers team right now? He's had 20 career games head into the year, kind of been a journeyman, and now he's getting plugged in as that corner infielder, and he's played well.
He has played well, but it's been very up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's 3 of 17 right now on the season. So it's like everybody remembers that home run, and he's got the 3 RBIs with it. So it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, yeah, there's been some really awesome highs, but other than that home run, he's only hit the ball twice.
Right.
Besides that. So it's like, it's one of those where I'm like, I need a little bit more here offensively. Like, defensively, he's been good. Like, he's everything that you need from a third baseman. So, like, I have no complaints there. So he's going to keep his spot in the lineup. Like, that's not my concern. But, like, we got to get the ball actually hit to the gap a little bit more. Like, get some stuff, like, actually consistently going. Like, I don't know if I really want my third baseman to just be like, maybe we get a home run every week out of him, and then that's the best we're getting from him. Like, we got to get a little bit more power out of that corner spot. Same thing for Reese Hoskins, by the way. Dude's 2 of 15. I'm just literally looking at the lineup for tonight. Like, we got some guys that got to get some more hits. Like, Contreras 2 of 20. Like, what are we doing, dude? Like, you're supposed to be, like, the second best offensive player on this team this year.
Well, they need torpedo bats.
I was just about to say, you mentioned he needs a little more power. I might have a bat modification for Mr. Capra. What do we think?
No, that's cheating. Okay. I'm not. Look, the Cubs will cheat. The Cubs will steal managers because they can't win on their own. That's not the Milwaukee way. We do it with integrity. We do it through grit and hard work. I know that's not something that anybody from Chicago would understand, but that's how we do it here in Wisconsin.
As long as the fans have fun, right? Winning games is second.
No, they'll win games through the heart and their grit, okay?
I gotcha.
Maybe it hasn't happened quite right now, but it will, okay? I believe.
That's fair.
And I believe in you, Hunter. Thank you as always.
Thank you.
You're the man.
We appreciate you coming on, Hunter.
Oh, anytime, guys.
All right. Well, sounds good. We'll be
talk to you
talking to
later.
him on Thursday next week, and I'm excited to find out where we're looking at those Brewers in the standings, because I've got a feeling this is going to be a back and forth between you two.
Oh, they're
for
bruised
the
up,
four
too.
sweet.
They're coming up.
Yeah, I'll give you credit because you kind of like you put on your journalism cap. You're very like to the belt. You talk Brewers, and then as soon as like you get a prod, all of a sudden the Cub eyes come out on you. And I love that he brings that out in you. I love the back and forth. I kind of get to sit back and watch.
Had a little Atanasio drop there. Yeah, as long as the fans are having fun, that's the main priority. We don't need to get in the postseason.
Yeah, winning second is what you said, which is not true.
Exactly.
And the Brewers keep getting to the postseason, but I digress.
No, I do think they'll be back and they'll be good. Rotation's bruised up right now. They'll be fine. Miz will get called up soon. I'm excited for that. But yes, when we come back, a segment we like to call Out of Bounds. It will be short here on the Dam Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV.
Cards in Waupun. Your favorite local sports teams, your favorite local sports hosts. It's Corey and Wally on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam.
This is Out of Bounds on the Damn Sports Show, presented to you by Real Sports Cards in Waupun and the Real Sports Cards app. Out of Bounds is simply what set you off this week, and I'll kick it off because it relates to Wally. Had his cheat meal today, went to a nearby restaurant for Mexican food, awesome Mexican food, and he did the same thing he did the first time we went to this place. He brought a bottle of barbecue sauce instead of using the resources they had there.
I wanted a barbecue chicken quesadilla.
And I think
sue me.
I think that's a great combination, but the fact that you brought barbecue sauce to a restaurant, it's like going to McDonald's
Here's the key.
and being like, oh, I'll get my own pickles.
No, here's the key, in that you're leaving this part out. I didn't have this openly sitting on the table. I have my backpack there. I wasn't sure.
First time?
Well, the first time I screwed up, I left it on the table. Hand up, that's on me. I agree. I acknowledge that was a fault. This time, I had my backpack there so that I could potentially do work.
Ominous.
I never did that.
What's in the backpack?
My work computer, because
it's
I had to
barbecue
prepare
sauce.
for my show and news. So I put my barbecue sauce in the bag. When I got my quesadillas, I put barbecue sauce on, back in the bag. No one's none any the wiser, and I got to enjoy my food. I got to enjoy my barbecue chicken quesadilla.
I think it's a great combination, but just the fact that you bring barbecue sauce to a restaurant. Maybe they have barbecue sauce. Have you ever asked?
No, because they don't have it on the table. If they don't have it on the table, I'm not going to ask.
What if they have some in the back?
Well, it probably wasn't as great as Baby Ray's, baby. It was fantastic. I want somebody to tell me what I did wrong.
I'm not doubting that it tasted good. I just think the act is...
But like, again, I'm
know you
still
did it.
waiting. What was the problem with what I did?
You brought an option that a restaurant probably has.
If they had it, I certainly didn't
Or
see
they
it.
have hot sauce. Use their hot sauce.
And that would be fine. I wanted barbecue chicken.
That's entirely fine. Okay. Homer Hour is coming up next, and then we have the Damn Sports Show on remote at the softball diamond, weather permitting, followed by Beaver Dam softball against Hartford. Have a good night.